Meat and cheese.
Cheese and beer.
They go well together.
Ah, terroir. um,
Pickles. I don't have any pickles. I'm Joe Holtrop, and I grew up on a dairy farm. Well, this was in the 60s and 70s. We were a small farm. Even in those days, we only milked about 35 cows, and we did everything ourselves. We didn't hire any help. But I had 4 older brothers, so I had lots of people around to do all the chores. Every morning, had to get up early, had to go out, milk the cows, clean up after the cows, go to school, come home, do chores, feed the cows, milk the cows again, clean up after the cows. It was constant work, and in the summertime we had to make silage, we had to make hay, calves to feed. There was always a cow that was sick that had to be taken care of. I know with industrialized agriculture, it's different. Our cows, I think, had a better life than most dairy cows do these days, that are confined on concrete all the time. Because our cows got to go out on pasture and have fresh air and that sort of thing. Our cows were our lifeblood. That's how we made our living, was like how much milk our cows produced and how healthy they were. So if we didn't take care of our cows, we didn't have any income. I would sometimes ladle off cream off the top, because the cream rises to the top. I'd ladle that off and put it on cream of wheat or oatmeal. Milking cows, I don't know how far back that goes, but it was probably done out of necessity at some point in time. They could get milk from these cows that could eat grass, and people couldn't eat grass, so then they had something that they could get, that they could consume, and they could turn the milk into cheese. In Tibet, in Nepal, they raise yaks. It's a very harsh climate. Can't grow very much. They live essentially on barley and yak milk and yak meat. They milk camels in the Middle East as well. And then eventually it becomes part of a culture, something that people are good at and they learn how to do, and then they breed the animals so they're more productive and more specialized. And there's all kinds of things that people did out of necessity long ago, like making sausage. That was a way to make use out of every part of the animal, even disgusting organs that weren't good to eat, ground them up and mixed in spices and turned it into sausage. And after a while, that becomes a very important part of the diet of a certain culture. Milk and cheese. It was a way to turn grass into food, basically, I think. After a while, like in the United States, in the industrialization of agriculture, then it becomes really an economic thing. Like where I grew up, a lot of the people came from Holland, which is a big dairying country, big, famous for making cheese.
Your dad came from Holland, right? Or your parents?
My grandfather did. I've been to the biggest dairy farm in the state of Washington. It's over near Yakima. They milk their cows 3 times a day, and they are milking 24 hours a day. There's something like 80 to 100 calves born every day. They have their own vet. They have accountants who are looking at all the numbers. They maximize production, minimize costs. They typically only milk a cow about 3 or 4 years, and then its production declines. It's not worth keeping it after that. So they get rid of the cows quickly. We kept ours for many years. In fact, we had some that were 12, 15 years old. I think of rape as something that involves sex. I saw many cows being bred. It's a pretty weird thing to see, but the first time, but then that's how it's done. And we did once we kept a bull, and so only once I remember watching the cow and the bull mate, and that seemed very violent and kind of freaked me out compared to the artificial insemination.
Mm.
And then that bull, sometime later, attacked Paul, almost killed him, broke some of his ribs, and I was probably only about 6 at the time, and it was at night, and I was in the house, and my brothers were out there, and they were throwing pitchforks at the bull to try to get him off of them, and I guess one of them ran over to the neighbor to get help, and the neighbor actually drove through the field, through the fences, and as if he was going to drive right at the bull, and with the lights on, and that scared the bull enough that they were able to get Paul out of there, and then they had to take him to the hospital. He was in the hospital for a while. Cows are usually pretty docile, but the bulls, especially dairy bulls, they can be very, very unpredictable. They've been bred for centuries. Artificial insemination is genetically modifying. Have catalogs on it, all the information of various bulls and their offspring, what has happened with their offspring, how much milk they produce, whether calves are difficult to deliver or not, all kinds of genetic information. And a good herdsman would be able to look at that and look at the cows they have and say, well, this cow needs this as a good match to get the right kind of offspring. My father was really good at that. My stepfather, that was his passion, was breeding, picking out the right matches and getting really good productive cows. Well, it's one of the most nutritious foods there is, if you can digest it. We just buy regular old store-bought pasteurized milk. It's safe and inexpensive. And the alternative would be like raw milk from Dungeness Valley Creamery or something like that, which is way more expensive, way more expensive. And because it's not pasteurized, there's some risk involved with it. So I think we had pretty good immune systems back then because we were out getting cow manure on our faces and all over us, and probably ingesting it on occasion accidentally. So whatever germs were in that, or in milk, that would happen to get in the milk, we were already getting that anyway from other stuff. And it was as fresh as could be, so it wasn't like it was going to be unsick because it wasn't fresh. But I do know a farmer, his father insisted that they always drink pasteurized milk. They didn't drink their own milk. They wouldn't bother because they were concerned about the health concerns. Apparently it happened, enough people got sick, and very few people know, but cleanliness is really, really important on the dairy farm. We had to wash everything, scrub it down with soap, and then run a rinse through everything, and then some chlorine water to sterilize everything. And we had to clean the tank every time it was emptied. That was one of my jobs. Lots of kids these days eat cereal. And if you look at the nutritional value of the cereal, it's very low, but if you add milk, then the nutritional value goes way up. You had to change it to part of a nutritious breakfast. And then they had to show a picture of what it was. And so it was a cereal, it was milk, there was a glass of orange juice, and it was like some other fruit.
Yeah.
So
I remember those commercials.
Small part of the nutritional value of breakfast. might sound like it was, you asked what it was like from the farm, it was tons of work, which it was, but I actually wanted to go do chores, and I started doing chores on a regular basis when I was 8 years old. And my brothers were out doing chores, and I was stuck in the house, being bored. Television was nothing like it is now. But when I was in college, I kept coming back to that as something that I was comfortable with. And, in fact, when I was in college, I worked at WSU. There's a dairy, they call it the dairy center. There's a dairy farm at the university where they do research.
Because that's your terroir.
I guess so. And if you give cow's milk to other animals, they'll drink it. They just don't have the technology to get that milk from those other species. But there have been dogs that have raised kittens, and cats that have raised puppies. Well, Hindus, they worship the cow. Cow is one of their gods that provided food, milk for people. It's against the law to kill a cow in India and Nepal. If you kill a cow,
But that's murder.
It's murder.
Whoa. My mind was just blown. Cows are... I feel like my spirit animal is a cow. That's what I feel like.
Thing about breastfeeding in public, that's just a weird thing in our society that have all kinds of taboos about the human body. In Nepal, they had no qualms about nursing in public, but any interaction between men and women was kind of taboo. Breastfeeding was nursing was just a normal thing, but a man talking to a woman, that's kind of a sexual thing.
Anyway, you were saying...
It is somewhat controversial about breastfeeding in public, which, that's just a societal norm thing that I guess we need to get over. But
Okay, now the big question. Were you breastfed?
I don't think so.
Ah! Why not?
I don't know, but I think at the time they thought that not breastfeeding and bottle feeding instead was somehow progressive and liberating, and it was probably a feminist thing.
Oh my god.
Think about it. If a woman wanted to have a child but wanted to go to work, I don't think they had breast pumps back then, so you got the baby onto a bottle. Anybody could take care of that baby, and you could go back to your profession. And then those who stayed home, they probably wanted to be progressive like those professional women too, And I'm just trying. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just trying to rationalize. Gooey duck and gooey duck.
Cool. Gooey duck pride.
Yeah.
Represent. Mom. Mom? What are you doing? Mom!
I'm trying to wrap this up here.
Am I in it?
Hillary! What are you doing?
Mom said she opened the door and she was in it. I wanted to be in it too.
What? Close the door.
I will. Am I gonna be in it?
Yes, it's recording right now.
I know, but you can edit stuff out, can you?
Yeah.
Can I be in it?
I'll probably put you in the, bloopers or something.
Cool, goodbye.
Nutritional?
Is that right?
Yeah.
That sounds weird. Nutritional.
This is my beef with milk.